Camera profiles.
Another component really in the Lightroom color management, although it's a special case. It's what Adobe came up with, actually Thomas, called the DNG profile. So it's an actual profile of the camera.
Typically, profiling cameras is a very difficult thing to do. What Adobe does is they have a method for creating what they call their Adobe standard profile, where there is a shot taken under what's called standard illuminant A, which is what, 3200? 2850, and then daylight, 6500, D65, and then kind of a matrix profile is created. And as the color temperature changes and you move your white balance slider, you move along this matrix.
Between them.
Between.
And and it's actually a brilliant solution, because what it does is it incorporates a full range of white balance opportunities. And the accuracy between standard illuminant A and D65 is very good. In this case, under the camera calibration, if you show profile, there is only the one Adobe standard.
Right.
What that means is that probably Eric Chan or Thomas Knoll sitting there kind of, this is the way I think the camera should look. But it's really only one sample. It's not a unique fingerprint to the camera that you have.
Right, it's not my camera, it's the camera that they used. So now there is a solution.
Statistically, that might be fine, but you don't know until you take this other option.
Or you may find yourself shooting in some unique lighting situations.
Yeah, weird lighting, non-full spectrum light, for example, fluorescence, mercury vapor. You can create a custom profile.
Like stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, sports photographer shooting in a particular stadium with weird mixed lighting.
Or if you're shooting in the studio, and you have studio strobes, and you want to get an exact profile for your studio strobes, that would be cases where you'd want to do that.
So, how do we create a custom DNG profile?
Using X-Rite's Passport or a standard ColorChecker chart.
ColorChecker Passport. What's nice about this is it's in this plastic case. Comes
Durable.
with a neck lanyard. It has a gray card as well, so it's very convenient for white balancing. But this is X-Rite ColorChecker Passport, specifically designed for creating Adobe DNG
Yes, and
profiles.
interestingly enough, the colors here along the top are actually broken down to the exact same spectral properties of the HSL sliders in Camera Raw and Lightroom.
Right. So, I don't have a custom profile for the Fuji X100 yet. So why don't we step outside, unless it's raining, in which case we'll go in the porch.
We'll get a rain profile.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well,
although you want to actually take very good care of these.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, these, what was it, about $100?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, let's head upstairs.
Okay.
So Jeff, why don't you step into the corner here, the screen porch. It's raining too hard to do this outside. And I am going to get a close-up. I'll do one more for safety.
Windy.
Okay. The idea is you want to fill the frame as much as you can. Now this is a equivalent of a 35mm lens. It's a fixed lens. So I've gone into macro mode. So now I can come out of macro mode, and just so that we have something to shoot, I'm going to do an absolutely stunning portrait of you. Nope, gotta go back to macro mode. This isn't really the camera for
portraits?
Doing portraits, no. But anyhow, let's... And one more. Okay, good. Okay, we're back. Let's... Nice and warm down here. It's really chilly and damp outside.
Yeah.
Okay, let's load this guy up.
Kind of cold in my Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. This has been such a cold spring. Okay, we're going to import these guys. So we have the two shots of the checker, and then we have the two portraits. Let's do this. I think this one's a little bit better exposed.
Okay.
We go to File, Export, and we go to the X-Rite ColorChecker. So DNG profile name, X100 Rainy Day. Dual illuminant, no it isn't.
The way you would
Productivity
do a full profile is you would shoot under D65, and it's close to D65, although a rainy day might be pretty close to D65, and then standard illuminant A or tungsten.
Yeah.
And then you can create a dual illuminant. This would be a single illuminant profile, which would be excellent for, you know,
Rainy
outdoors or rainy days.
Yeah, right. Okay. And I now hit export.
And it's also important that you name it something now, because not unlike ICC profiles, it's difficult to rename.
Profile generation. This may take a few minutes. Okay, ColorChecker Passport. The profile has been generated successfully. Lightroom must be restarted to activate the profile. Boom. Task completed. Quit Lightroom. Restart Lightroom. Now we go to Develop. And over here, next to Adobe Standard, we have X100 Rainy Day.
Now you see, it was subtle, but it did change just a little bit.
Actually, we haven't even done a gray balance on this yet, because this is as shot. So now, let me do a white balance. Okay, so now let's see what the difference is. So here is Adobe Standard. Look at the blues, and here's our rainy day profile. Now what I want to do is go to this stunning portrait that I did of you with my 35mm equivalent wide angle lens.
I love that.
Yeah. Let me do a gray balance on your beard, because you're a gray beard. And I'm also going to do a quick little...
If you ever let your beard grow long enough to be visible, you'd be a gray beard as well.
Okay, let me just do a little bit of tweaking. So we'll bring down the sky a little, and we'll push the blacks a little, and we'll do a little bit of fill light, and now we'll bring down the brightness around there. Let me give a little bit of clarity. Not bad for now. And so now this is under Adobe Standard, and let's look at Rainy Day. Not a big difference, is there?
No.
No, but it's
Very
subtle, but it's there. So what that's telling us is that the Adobe profile,
Pretty
dual
darn
illuminant
good.
profile, is really good.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's basically how you make camera profiles using the X-Rite ColorChecker Passport to generate Adobe DNG profiles. And I don't like the fact that they're called DNG profiles, because it really doesn't have anything to do with DNG.
No, it is. It's part of the DNG specification. It was written as part of the DNG specification, and they had to name it DNG profiles. If they just used a generic term profile, there would be confusion with ICC
They're
profiles.
not, yeah, but they're not ICC
No,
profiles.
they're DNG profiles. So that is
Okay.
part of the title of the specification.
They should have called them Adobe profiles. That doesn't matter. Little
The
side note.
other thing is, what is really pretty cool is X-Rite did the Passport software. The Passport software is free. If you have a color checker, you don't need to use the actual Passport if you don't want to. If you have either the large or the small color checker, it's a free download from X-Rite, which I think is actually pretty cool. And X-Rite was the first company to kind of jump on the DNG profile bandwagon. You can also go to labs.adobe.com and get the DNG profile editor. I demoed that in the Lightroom 3 tutorial. We're not going to bother with that here. That's also a free solution, and quite honestly, it actually allows you to edit the profile. The Passport software only creates a profile, but you can edit the profile in DNG Profile Editor. Eric Chan wrote that, and the documentation is actually very good, which is why I'm not going to bother to actually demo it. But the DNG profile editor is a free download. It's still, quote, officially in beta, unquote. It's not an official released application. Adobe does a lot of that on the labs website. So basically, DNG...
That way they don't have to
support
release. They don't have to support it, answer questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So in essence, that's the full kind of scope of color management in Lightroom.